Very good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on where and when you're watching us from. My name is Mutathi Wachira Wanyaga, Mujiri wa Baria Karigithi, na ngwihoka kuma ng'ongo ciothe iria ciumaga huho. Muri thayo, thayo, thayo. Today is the 21st day of April 2024, and it is raining here in Kenya, specifically here in Nairobi. There's a lot of rain. So that's why you can see today I'm wearing something that should keep me warm. And this is State of the Continent. We are here to tell you what is going on in the continent of Africa so that you can keep informed. And with me tonight is Maina Oleshesha. Maina, how are you?
I'm fine. My week has been nice. And like you said, it has been raining a lot in Nairobi. They say this is the weather for two. I don't know if you have the second one on your side, but yeah, it has been raining heavily. But I'm happy to be back talking about African stories in an African pan.
Thank you, Maina. And today we are reminding them that we have various different services that we offer. And tonight we are focusing basically on our service on corporate emceeing, where we get to help these corporates or people who are having events such as galas, dinners, and such other kind of corporate events, and we are able to do that corporate emceeing for them, Maina.
Yeah, indeed. I think we have been in the process of making people aware that we don't do just YouTube. We have a wide variety of services that we can do for you. So if you have an event and you want someone to cheer the crowd up, you want someone who can control the crowd. It's not that MC like the MCs in music festivals. It's a kind of a corporate MC, and we say we want to be your partner, your premier partner in corporate success. So if you have an event, you have a dinner, you have a gala, feel free to reach out to us through any of our social media platforms. We'll be very glad to come and host MC new event. And we always say, our charges are very affordable. If you reach out to us, we will always come to a consensus regarding our charges.
Yeah, thank you for that. And we go directly into the topics of today. And I will start off from Zimbabwe, where El Nino linked drought threatens maize production. It is just quite funny that I've been following up that in Zimbabwe, they plant a lot of, maize, and maize production is huge there. So I was just wondering about this issue because, here in Kenya, it's raining, it's flooding, and I don't know how in Zimbabwe side they are having the drought is threatening the maize production, and this is it. They are linking it to the El Nino that they're saying, the experts are saying this has led to this. So even maize farmers are saying, why this time around it's like we're not going to to get any maize from our farms, and it's quite shocking. I don't know if Collins, you got a chance to see that.
Yeah, I've seen that, and it looks like we live in a world of contrasts. On the one hand, it's raining very heavily here in Kenya, and on the other side, they're suffering a drought. There are some people who say God gives with one hand and takes with the other. So it's a very contrasting situation, and we hope that they survive, they pull through this. It's not very personal when we talk of these things, but people are dying, and it's a sad situation, and we hope that they find a solution to whatever they are going through. And now, in coming to back to our country of Kenya, just recently we lost our chief of defense forces. His name was General Francis Ogola. And a lot of times, when there are deaths, people tend to mourn. And but I think I looked at the ceremony and I watched it, and I think what stood out for me is that people celebrated his memory more than just crying that he's gone. They said, yes, he's gone, but we want to celebrate him for what he did while he was alive, which to me is actually the best possible send off. I'd rather people celebrate me than cry in my funeral. So yeah, we celebrate him for all the achievements he made, and I think looking at his story, he was one of the most qualified people in this country. Because we live in a country where a lot of times people don't get these jobs out of qualifications. They get jobs because they know someone who knows someone. But he was very qualified for the job. We hope his family finds peace during these tough times, and we continue to celebrate his memory and honor all that he did for this great country.
Yeah, indeed, it has been a sad 3 days in our country here in Kenya. The Chief of Defense Forces, the late now General Francis Ogola, passed on in a helicopter crash, on a plane crash, and uh, it has been really sad because the country, uh, everybody is just wondering what the hell happened. And however, what I'm so glad to see is that the respect that was accorded to him, not only by the government, the military, even people actually, they really showed much respect to the foster general who was laid to rest. And there was interesting things because people were seeing how military people are buried. The military, proceedings and their respects, how they are done, especially to a general, because it's the first time that is happening in Kenya. And it was interesting to see that. And also remember that he had said that he's giving, he had written that he should be buried within 72 hours of his death. So that was a sad story indeed. And moving on to the 2024 Olympics in Paris that are set to happen in Paris. I love sports. I love competition, especially when it is now representing our nations. And this one, I said, let me talk about it today because there's that thing that is normally done in Olympia, Greece, because that's where Olympics originated. And there's the torch, the lighting of the torch, and there's that process that it takes before it gets to the destination, the country destination. So it is less in by Tuesday. It will be less than 100 days to the Olympics that will be happening in Paris, or in Paris, depending on how you want to say to put it. This year, 2024. Now, the story is this, that many countries actually were trying to avoid hosting Olympics in 2024 and 2028, the one that will, the one that will follow. So they were saying that Olympics sometimes leads to a lot of pollution in their countries. And this issue of global warming, that's why we're having such kind of issues in Zimbabwe and a lot of rains that is, so that was the interesting fact that countries don't want to host this event. I don't know, Mana, if you got a chance to see that.
How we wish they would have brought it to our beautiful country. Because these are things we can only dream of. These are things we only see on TV. So if they don't, if they're against it, why not bring it back to Africa? Because I'm sure no African country will speak that way. And I've seen a lot of news about this on the media. I've seen a lot of Kenyan athletes are preparing for this, and we know that they'll make us proud come the Olympics. we are sure that indeed they'll make us proud. And
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
this,
The next one will be in Los Angeles, and the time they were they were looking. Okay, the countries were putting in their request to host these games or these sports activities. Only Los Angeles and Paris were left, so they were given they were given both of that chance to host that. So I'm wondering what is the thought process behind it? Why is it that our Kenyan or African countries do not want to host this Olympics? Because I'm sure the next one will be 2028. So after 2028, we are talking of about I think 2032 for the next one. So I don't know when Africa will start hosting these things quite well. But either way, we wish that when our African people, and specifically our Kenyan brothers who will go there, they will just scoop medals one after the other. Yeah, we hope they'll do that.
yeah, I hope they'll do that. As a kid watching Olympics, it used to be like the order of the day. If there's a marathon, number one, two, and three are from Kenya. By chance, one of them is from Ethiopia. But yeah, these moments made us proud as kids. And now I think I'd like to move us now to the western part of Africa, to Nigeria, where one Mr. Tunde Onakoya played chess for almost close to 60 hours, setting the world record. So he played this tournament in a bid to raise funds for the underprivileged. And Maki, it was not just playing chess, because he played and won chess for 60 hours straight. So he must be one of the great masters of this sport, because I don't even know how to play chess, but from the little things I've had, chess is not an easy game to play. That he played for close to 60 hours and won for the 60 hours. Yeah, kudos to him. And we are glad to see our African brothers like shining, setting records in games, while setting standards. And yeah, and that he did it for good causes is also something that we should stand up and say we are proud that our African brother indeed did this and held the name of our continent high. Ozira, I'm not sure if you've played chess before, but do you think you could manage to play chess and win? Not even win, play chess for 60 hours straight.
Actually, mine, I've played chess before. I know how to play chess, but I don't think in this magnitude. Hey, this one 6 hours nonstop. I saw that on YouTube and I was like, what? This is really interesting, but I don't think I personally can be able can be able to do that. But it's good to see this amazing let me say talent and abilities coming from our own country, and not country really, but our own continent in Africa. It shows that indeed we are capable of these things and we are able to do these things. It's interesting because not everybody can do that, including myself. I can play a little bit of chess, but 60 hours straight and then you win all of it. What? You need more. You need to know more and more. I am moving on forward to other news. Is that South Africa's inflation has eased in March. Remember that some time back we were talking in the state of the continent. I was telling you that inflation is really going up. So in South Africa, it was at 5.3 in January, and then it went all the way to 5.6. But the good thing is now that in that country, in March, it has now gone back to 5.3, which showcases that the country's economy is going to like a better state, and we hope that this inflation rate at the end of the day it doesn't become hard, because inflation sometimes can really do a lot of things to an economy, and especially a lot of bad things to economy. And South Africa being a powerhouse uh, in Africa, definitely if this such kind of things affect South Africa, I'm sure even the neighboring countries there like Zimbabwe, they will be feeling that effect from that side. Mine.
Yeah, indeed, they will be feeling that effect. I remember 2 weeks back, you're talking about the biggest economies in Africa, and I'm sure South Africa featured somewhere along there. And it was shocking that it looked like the economy was on a downward spiral. But I think that they've managed to pull out. It shows that sometimes it's good to appreciate when things go the right way. A lot of times we like critiquing and saying things are not working, but when things go the right way, I think it's only fair to clap for them and tell them that indeed they've done a good job, and we hope they'll keep on with the same spirit. And now back to West Africa. to a region which has been trouble for a while now. Remember, there was a military takeover, so now the country is under the control, the rule of the military. And just 2 weeks back, I was talking about how these people, these rulers or generals, were not in agreement with the United States. So there was that sort of tension. This is what has culminated into the US agreeing to pull out their troops from Niger. So initially, they had close to 1,000 troops in that region, and they were there under the pretext that they wanted to fight jihadists in the region, because that region, there's also that issue of fighters, jihadist fighters. So the US had set up a base there only, I think, less than a decade ago. But right now it looks that like they're taking a step back and saying, you know what, you've seen that it's not fit for us to be in your country. Why don't we leave and leave you to your own devices? Which, if you look at it, is a good thing. But then if you read into the story, yes, the United States and France are leaving that region. But right now, Russia is the one taking over from what the United States and France are leaving behind. So it looks like we're moving from one colonial master to another one. It looks like neo-colonialism in a sense, because you say this one does not look good. Why don't we approach his friends who don't look quite dissimilar to them? So I, I'm left wondering: are they really headed in the right direction? Because I would have thought that if the US were to leave, they will be left to their own devices. They will say, we don't want any more foreign influence. We just want to do what we think is right for our people. That I think they've not done as much as they tried to move away from the West.
Mhm. I hear you. I hear you. Let me move on to my special segment for this week as I wrap up. This week, I last time I talked about the richest countries in Africa in terms of GDP. So today, I want to tell our audience about the seven youngest presidents or heads of government and state here in Africa. And I don't know if Collins, you can guess who is at the top of the list.
I caught a snippet of a photo that came before. I think I know for sure the president of Senegal, Diomaye Faye is there among the list, and then I saw a few generals. So I think one of the presidents of these West African countries, maybe Niger, Mali, or Burkina Faso. I don't know their names, but I'm sure they're somewhere within the list, and maybe the Ethiopian president, if I'm not wrong. So yeah, those
Yeah,
are my
so this is how it is. Ibrahim Traore from Burkina Faso is the youngest with 36 years. And then we have Mohamed Debi from Chad. He has 39 years. And then we have Assimi Goita from Mali, 41 years. And then Mamadi Dumbawe, I don't know if I'm pronouncing Dumbawe that one right. That's so it is Mamadi Dumboye, 44 years from Guinea. And you see, all of these guys from number one all the way to four are from West Africa and are also military people. And that one tells you how they got to this position. But now, at number five is Basiru Faye from Senegal, the newest president, I think, in Africa with 44 years. And then we have Abiy Ahmed, who is 47 years, and he is the prime minister of Ethiopia. He's the only, all of them, all the others are president. From Ethiopia is the only one who's a prime minister, because they're the president. The president the positions there are different. And then lastly,
I,
on
I
my
think
list, number seven is somebody by the name Andre Rajoelina from
from
Madagascar, and he has 49 years. So those are the youngest presidents in
I
Africa,
would have
minor.
I would have loved to see the dynamics if the phrase were not the youngest president. If it were the youngest democratically elected presidents in Africa, I would like to see how young they are.
Mhm, mhm.
Because you said a
Maybe
lot of
next
them
time we
are,
will do the other way around and we see who are the oldest presidents.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And just a few minutes ago, we were talking about the Olympics. We're talking about how Africans have made us proud during these times. And this story next is a story of Africans or putting mud on the name of the African continent. Because just recently there was a half marathon in Beijing, and apparently what happened is that there were three Africans leading the race, two from Kenya and one from Ethiopia. And just close to the finish line, these people actually slowed down and let their counterpart from China pass them. And it was so blatant that there was no way you could miss that. In fact, one of them was pointing him on and waving him on, telling him that, you know what, pass, pass. And a lot of people saw that thing and said, This is actually not fair. You're not doing us well because we take our time and hold a marathon. We prepare for it for so long, and then you come and try to cheat in a marathon. So what happened is that all of them were disqualified. And when asked for the reason why they let him pass, they said that apparently they were not running in the race; they were just pacemakers for him. And once they saw that he was close to the finish line, they let him pass, which to me does not is an argument that does not hold water. I think Africans for a very long time have been told we are corrupt, we show no integrity, and things like this just go to prove the point. Because I'm wondering how much were they paid to let go of that gold medal for this one other person, and sometimes these things, for example, I think they might be disqualified from other races in future. So in the pursuit of money and yeah, because it's just a pursuit of money, they let go of a lot of things, and I think they did not do our African continent right, because the lie was very blatant.
Yeah, I was following up on that, and I saw, this, I'm not shocked to see this from China. China, they say they are the most democratic, but sometimes people who call themselves democratic in their name, sometimes they are not as democratic. Because look at it this way: these guys, the Africans who let this other fellow to pass, one of them said that he let him pass because he is his friend. Okay, you're in a competition. It doesn't even make sense. I'm not saying you shouldn't compete amongst your friends, but it doesn't make sense. And then I was looking at it this way. You see, this guy who was let to pass, they're non-African in this case. He's sponsored by the same company that was sponsoring the entire marathon. So there was that discussion there that this one is just a whole another story. But it is quite a shame. It's quite a shame that what they did, or what happened there in Beijing. But eventually, me, I'm looking at it this way: the Africans, we can see they were the people were the ones who are winning that thing. So I don't know why they did that. They are the ones who know why they did that. There are reasons best known to them. But I think it is painting Africans in a bad picture. That uh, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense because even that guy was pointing. He was pointing, and he was showing where Peter, and the other guy to win, and it was just quite funny. Also, in another essence. So I think, Collins, as we are wrapping it up, I think that's pretty much what we have for today.
Yeah, that's what we had for today, and I think I'd just like to remind them again that we don't do just YouTube alone. We do a lot of things, and the one we wanted to make you aware of this week is our corporate MCing. Is our corporate MCing service. We want to be your premier partner in corporate success. We want to, if you have a corporate event and you want your guests to feel like they paid their money's worth, they invested whatever they invested into coming to that event was worth the investment. Feel free to reach out to us through any of our social media platforms. We go to the point of even rehearsing with you before the event. We talk about the needs of the attendees of your event. We talk of the simple things, because to us it's those simple things that matter. We ensure that in preparing for your event, we look at even the tiniest of details, and we look at things like your audience. Are they old people? Are they the youth? Are they people in their mid 40s, mid 50s? So we look at things that perhaps others might overlook, but to us they hold a lot of weight. And like I said again, if you have a corporate event and want MCs for it, feel free to reach out to us through any of our social media platforms or through our website at www.washiraspeaks.com. And then one other thing which we in an effort to do is conscientize the African mindset. We want to shift our mindsets from what we feel is a Eurocentric way of thinking. We want to come back to our roots. We want to be proud of our names. We want to be proud of the continent we come from. We want like you guys to create a movement of Africans and for Africans, because we've been looking at the way things are going, and it looks like a lot of us are abandoning our cultures. We are moving away from what was there before into a Eurocentric way of living, which to us is not right. And perhaps that is what might be the problem that might be bedeviling our continent. That's why we might not be moving as well as we want to as a continent. That's why we say, you know what? They say sometimes change begins with us, and we want to be the change in the world. And we want to preach to you guys the message of the African continent and conscientize your mindsets in such a way that all of us will be proud of being Africans and always push the African cause. Yeah, that was all from
Thank you, Mina, for that. I can see Faith Joel sent in a message and he said, "Your partner every step of the way." I think that is in line with the corporate MCing message that we have, service message that we have for today. So for me, I like to thank everybody who has watched us live and everybody who will watch us later. Kindly reach out to us in various platforms, our social media platforms, and also our website. I think that will be the easiest. Just www.rashidaspeaks.com and you'll get to communicate with us. From there, you'll see places where you can communicate with us. And also like to remind them, Mina, that we have a special announcement this time round, that we are going to be doing a very special broadcast this coming Thursday, and we are going to issue out the link and the registration form for everybody who wants to know about our personal development program that is coming up, and it's going to be very, very interesting. And we will be sharing details about it and how to get to it on our social media platforms as we proceed. But from there, I like to wish everybody a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful week ahead and a good night. We wish you well, and for those who are in Kenya, this is you keep warm, ndio usipate homa, but otherwise, wish you a good night.